Welcome to the Next Dimension Podcast, your portal to an extended reality. Every week we talk about the hottest topics in XR and let you join the discussion live on MRTV. And now, get ready for another exciting episode coming up.
Hi and welcome to this very special episode of the Next Dimension podcast. I'm here at the Lynx offices in Paris, France, together with Stan Larroque, the founder and CEO of Lynx. How are you doing?
Hi, good, and you?
Yeah, I'm really doing good as well.
Welcome.
I'm excited about this. Also here with us, of course, Gary Warkton from Immersed Robot. Hi,
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Yeah, really pleased to be here, to be honest.
Yeah,
Looking forward to getting into it.
It's pretty exciting. And also with me, my name is Sebastian Intro. I'm the founder of MRTV, and also the host of the Next Dimension podcast. For all of you who don't know this podcast yet, this podcast is all about VR and AR and everything mixed, like today here. And we are live every Saturday, 9 p.m. Berlin time, 9 p.m. Paris time, 8 p.m. London time, noon in San Francisco, and 3 p.m. in New York City. You can listen to this podcast on all the podcast providers, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Alexa. And if you enjoy what we're doing, like really going places, then absolutely do write us a good review on iTunes, for example. So do get out your iPhone or iPad, find the podcast app, and simply find the Next Dimension podcast and do give us a 5-star review. I traveled all the way to Paris. Come on, we both
Exactly,
did.
yeah.
We both did, right? So you can really absolutely give us a good review. So, of course, I am so excited for today's episode. Yeah, not only did I meet Gary for the first time in person, which is pretty amazing. Also, I met Stan for the first time, also in person.
Yeah.
And we're here together in Paris at the Lynx offices. And Gary and me, we are the first people ever to try out the Lynx, a new functionality of the Lynx, where basically everything comes together that you had in mind, right? So now hand tracking works, 6 degrees of freedom, movement works, occlusion works, everything works, right?
Yeah, and earlier today you tried that and you posted on YouTube already.
Right.
I
Directly.
shot through the
Unedited.
lens
I just put it out.
in the moment because it was. I think it's quite impressive. It's quite also a satisfaction for us, for me at Lynx, to finally show to people what we're doing and all of the blocks coming together. It's a really exciting time, and I think it's what people wanted to see.
Right, I think so too. They
and,
needed to see that it really works, that this is a real product, right?
Yeah.
And I'm so excited about today's show, not only because it's the first time that we're live together and doing this, so we hope that the audio quality is okay. It's simply interesting and exciting to tell the world about our experiences, because we have experienced it firsthand, your device, right? The Lynx R1. And well, I'm excited to share it. Gary, probably you feel the same way.
Absolutely, I am. Yeah, I can't wait to start talking about this
because
I wasn't expecting. There's a lot of you come here with a lot of expectations, and you don't know which way things are going to go, if all the demos are going to work and stuff like that. But I can, we'll get into all of that a little bit later on.
Exactly. So this is an extremely exciting show. Thank you so much if you're watching this, and probably share this live link right now. And let's enjoy this moment together, because I think this is a very special moment of us being together. Cheers. And it's a very special show. So why don't you share this goodness and join us live right now? Because we don't know how this show is going to turn out, what's going to happen. No idea. This is kind of spontaneous, everything. And therefore, join us. I'm sure we're going to have a great time together here tonight. Live from Paris again.
Yeah.
Right. So we have, this is a very special show. So we're not going to go into all kinds of different topics today. For sure, there are a lot of topics like Resident Evil, for sure, and other topics. But today we are mostly going to concentrate on 2 topics. And that is obviously Lynx, since we're here now and we've tried it. We're going to share our experiences with you, and also the launch of the Varjo Aero, which is a new high-end VR headset for enthusiasts from Varjo, the Finnish company, that before had only been doing headsets for enterprise customers. Now, last week, they came out with the Aero, a very exciting high-end device. And I also am going to share my experiences with it, since I had it already for a couple of weeks, and you probably saw my review. So we're not going to go too deep into that topic, but we will have a conversation, and we will probably touch upon some topics, that are not in my review, right? On some questions that you have, or that the general public has, so we can simply talk about it. Right, exactly. And that's what we're going to do. But before we go into these topics, first of all, we would like to hear about our weeks. And I would like to start with you, Stan. So you are the CEO and founder of Lynx, and you're making this headset here. Probably you can show it into the camera. Right. This is the Lynx R1, and it is a mixed reality headset that allows you to do VR, but also AR and mixed reality, basically. That's something that I showed today when I posted my Through the Lens video onto my YouTube channel, where people can see that actually you can see the reality thanks to the pass-through cameras, thanks to the color pass-through cameras, right? And into that reality that you see on that VR screen, you can superimpose pictures, right? Like, for example, the planets. Like in the short clip that I put to YouTube, there is the sun that I, with my unbelievable powers, took with my hands and placed it here into your office, and then I showed occlusion. So this is basically what you're doing. Stan, how was your last week? You're in the middle of your Kickstarter.
Yeah, that is right.
You have people over here, like last week Cass and Cherry came, now it's us. You're still working on the demos. How did your last week look like?
So it's very agitated right now. I would say we are doing controlled chaos. Okay. So we are in this middle of the Kickstarter campaign, and people need to see the product working, and to know that what they're ordering will deliver. You know, that the experience will be there, and what we're promising is real. Mm-hmm. And right now, today, we are able finally to demonstrate that. So you showed something. You also have footage, and you're going to talk about that later, of course, with your experience. But my last week, I was dealing with all sorts of things: the Kickstarter campaign, sourcing components, dealing with the team, doing some demos, organizing your venue here. It's really agitated. I'm really happy that it's Saturday night, because tomorrow it's Sunday morning and I can sleep.
Mm. For the first time, probably.
Yeah. It's
how much did you sleep in the last week?
Not enough. You can ask my girlfriend, but clearly not enough. And we are taking off. You know, at Lynx, like, finally, we're taking off since we're able to demonstrate the product.
Right.
So I can't wait for the company to grow so we can have more resources, help us do all the work we're doing here. Because when you think about it for a second, making that headset with a 15 people company.
Yeah, all in this
very room. It's crazy. And when we started that, if you have told me what we would need to go through to get there, I would have say, okay, no, we'll do something else.
Right.
So last week and all of the next days as well are going to be agitated. But very exciting. Very exciting, including tonight. I'm very glad for all that. Yeah.
This was like a super exciting day for all of us, I believe. Mm-hmm. Right, meeting you for the first time, coming to the office, meeting your co-founder Chucky, and showing this for the first time. It must have been like super exciting for you.
Yeah,
overwhelming. The moment, right? The moment. Like when we put it on for the first time, like setting your baby free to MRTV and to Gary.
Yeah, keeping in mind as well, one of the demos we tried, you only actually wrote last night as well.
That is true. Some of the demos are very, very new. Not even the team here saw them. You tried everything, and I was worried that, you know, when you first put it on, you say, what is what is this crap? And just, okay, let's go back to Germany. And
You're right.
And I'm worried until the last minute that things are not what people expect. But
of course,
but today was different. Today is something that is really important to me. You're the first one to see the experiences, to see what the device really enables for the future of mixed reality. And I can't be more excited and more tired about that.
Yeah, I totally get it. And I'm so looking forward, to tell you out there about my experiences, and then Gary also about his experiences and what we think of the device. And that is going to be super exciting. And I would just like to congratulate you and your team for what you have achieved in only 2 years, right?
Yeah, that is
It's only 2 years. You are a small startup here in Paris with 15 people. And I must honestly tell you that I think it's pretty overwhelmingly amazing that this year is now in front of us. That this device, this is the transparent version, that this is actually here. Within 2 years, you made this happen with completely new lenses, with like hand tracking, with a color pass-through, and it's here in my hands after 2 years. I can just tell you, this is an incredible achievement that I haven't seen on the market so far. And I've seen a lot of companies, a lot of hardware companies. I'm myself a hardware engineer, right? So it's amazing. Congratulations to that first.
Thank you. I can't believe it either.
Right. So this is really a big achievement.
Yeah,
amazing.
Thank you. A very dedicated team.
Yeah.
And we'll continue that way. We're all very different, but we're all driven by the same passion.
Right.
A lot of people here are young, a bit older, coming from different industries.
Okay.
But AR and VR is so important for us that we put all our heart into this device.
Right. Yeah, I can tell. I can feel your passion, and I love it. Cool. Very cool. So yeah, an exciting week for you.
Yeah.
Probably every week is going to be exciting for the next, I don't know, a couple of years. It's
it's been like that for quite some time.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. To do a startup is unbelievable. It's crazy, right? Especially in this new emerging market.
And we're trying to share that. When I do the live events and stuff, we're trying to share that to people that are following the project, and you can see the progress, like all we went through, and to finally have that on the table here is really a lot of effort.
Yeah. And you know what? It's so cool that I can finally have a look at this lens here. Let me show that to people. That this is the lens of the Lynx, and it looks so different than any other lens that I've ever seen in my life. Right? This is like, how would you call this kind of shape?
So optically speaking, it's a catadioptric prism. But the cute name that the lens designer in Spain called it is the clover.
Right, the clover. It makes sense. And check this out. So this is absolutely interesting. And you know what? When I saw that in your streams, right? I saw you when you showed it to the camera, and I had to. In my imagination, it was heavy. In my imagination, this is like a diamond. Like wow, this is going to be heavy. And when you first gave it to me, it's like, what? It's super light, and I totally misunderstood it. So this is not made of glass.
It's made of plastic.
It's made of plastic.
It's 18 grams.
Yeah.
So it's very light.
It's very light. So interesting.
And when you look at that shape as well, and you put it close to your eye, you do think, how the heck can I ever see anything through this?
Yeah.
But it works.
It worked. That was really, really surprising. I mean, we'll talk about this later, but I can tell you, it's not strange. It's just a normal VR experience, right? Do you also have the same feeling?
Yeah.
There's nothing like, okay, strange coming together. It looks just like a normal VR experience that we all know. So that was like one of my big surprises today, right? Yeah, we'll talk about this more. Yeah, cool. So exciting week for you.
Yeah.
And you've done lots of things, of course. Gary, how about your last week? What did you do? Did you do anything in VR or?
Not too much in VR. I had a little bit of a busier week with work anyway. And also, of course, I was anticipating coming here.
Yeah.
So I was really looking forward to that. So the only piece of VR content that I made last week was based around the fact that I was coming here and sort of asking for questions and things. Also, I was planning on doing some stuff on Elite Dangerous because that's got an update coming, but that's been delayed till next week. So I'll probably make some content on that next week. But then, of course, leading after the anticipation, I came and I met you, Sebastian.
Yeah. How was
yesterday? It was okay. Yeah,
it's
it was
okay.
fine.
I mean,
but
meeting a German guy, obviously.
No, we met up last night. Yeah, had a few beers. Went and took some photos near the Arc de Triomphe as well.
Had a very expensive cocktail.
We did. Yeah, very expensive cocktail.
Wow.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
Yeah.
Welcome to Paris.
Yes. Yeah. At the Arc de Triomphe,
Yeah.
we had a cocktail. It was expensive.
Okay.
But it was nice. It was a very nice.
It was an amazing cocktail.
Yeah, it was really good. But so I've not been doing too much in the past in VR. I have picked up Resident Evil 4, but I've not played it yet.
Okay.
So I'll probably give that a try. I've never played Resident Evil 4 before.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, this will be my first time in VR. So
even I have played it, and I hate horror games, but I played it, on the Nintendo GameCube.
Yeah.
When I was a bit younger.
A little bit younger, yeah. So that's pretty much my week.
Okay.
A lot of anticipation about coming to this place, exactly where we are now.
Exactly, to the offices.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah. Wow. I was so busy. Unbelievable. Oh my goodness. So you have seen my review about the Varjo, right?
Yep.
And that was basically what I was preoccupied with. You get this device a few weeks earlier, which is amazing, of course, right? And then there is this deadline. Okay, no, the embargo lifts.
Yeah.
At 21st of October, at that time, you can have your review ready. And you want exactly at that time, you want to come out with your review. So I was just like, wow, working so hard on making this review a reality, making it happen. And I did it. It's like a 21-minute review of the Varjo with really all kinds of details, the MRTV style, through the lens videos that I always do, right?
Yeah.
And then I always do all the videos in German and English. So I have to double the work with everything. So I was spending the nights and days, the days and nights, I should say like this, at the office working on that review. And then I knew it would come out on that day, and I knew on the next day I would go to Paris, right? So I had to also organize all kinds of things, and I really rarely slept at all, just like you. Yeah, I think it's the thing for if you are a startup founder. Like I regard myself also as a founder, right? For MRTV, so I'm doing it full time, and it's just like crazy the amount of work. Like I'm not sure if people understand that, like what it means to make this kind of video, like how long it takes to make a video. And now when you watch the video, check out how the camera movement, when I show that device, it's getting better.
Yeah.
So it was exciting to make this review. It was so exciting. To be invited here to Paris now, to come, and the anticipation, and then yesterday meeting you, having a beer, and meeting you in reality, it's exactly how I expected it to be. It was great. We directly, I
said it's weird to see you in 3D. It's weird. It's an odd sensation.
It is.
You think you know Sebastian from the screen?
Yeah.
He does look basically the same.
Same with you. And I told you, I think you look even better in reality.
Thank you very much.
No, really, absolutely. That was good. It was great to meet you, and great today to meet you and have a lunch together, like the French style, a typical French restaurant. It was good. It was really good. So this is basically now the climax of this week for me. Really, like this puts everything together. This show now that we're here now, live in Paris, talking about everything, and I must tell you, I couldn't be happier than with what I'm doing here. I love it. Like now, finally, again, meeting people in reality, talking about what I'm passionate about, finding out about the Lynx and this new kind of technology, which will change all of our lives in the future. We'll get to this point, and it's going to be pretty fantastic, I believe. Right. That was my week. So we've all been busy, and now everything is finding its climax in today's show. Cheers to that again, yeah?
Oh, that's yours.
You're sharing it for me. Cheers.
I need a new one.
Okay. French fries. I did not eat French fries. How do you call it? Pommes frites?
Yeah, pommes frites. Yeah,
Pommes frites.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, I took French in high school. but I forget everything until now. Anyways. Oh my God. It looks so funny how you open that beer bottle. Okay, cool. So let's start with the topic that I was preoccupied with most of the time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Varjo Aero. So for all the people who have not heard about it yet, the Varjo Aero is a new headset, a new VR headset, high-end VR headset from Finnish company Varjo. Before, Varjo was only doing headsets for enterprise customers, very high-end, very beautiful resolution, super clear screen, super high resolution, and they have different kind of models. They had the VR3 and the XR3 that are at the moment their flagship models for enterprise. The VR3 being a VR headset, and the XR3 being a mixed reality headset with a beautiful pass-through and also the same high-res screen, and even that super high-res focus display where you will get a human eye resolution with a 70 pixel per degrees. And I can tell you, this is absolutely stunning. I received the device, the VR3, like a couple of months ago. It was loaned out to me. And I made some footage, some videos showing my excitement when I simply looked through it. I took through the lens videos of the VR3, and the video got, I think, 200,000 views now, which is like really high for a VR through the lens video, at least on MRTV. And that was pretty exciting. So lots of you out there listening to this right now, they commented like, okay, wow, I want this. Shut up and take my money. Give us the consumer version. Because you could buy the VR3 as a normal person, but you would have to pay a yearly fee. Like every year you have to pay like 800 euro to Varjo to get support, to get business support, which makes absolutely sense for a business device since they need lots of support, right? And some consumers, flight simmers, they went for it. They bought the VR3. And there's actually a really interesting Discord group from Varjo where these people meet, and I was also part of this. So hello to the Varjo Discord group. And you also really helped the company to make this decision to go and make a consumer device. And thanks to all this feedback, to all the thumbs up, to your comments, to everything, Varjo did have the confidence to say, you know what, let's friggin' do it, and let's come out with a consumer headset. And that is the Varjo Aero. It has the same screens like the VR3, like 2,800 by 2,700 pixels per eye, like a very high resolution. So as a comparison, the index has 1,400 times 1,600. So very, very high resolution. And it's basically the same headset like the VR3, but it is lighter since they got rid of the hand tracking of the VR3. And also they get rid of the focus displays. So the focus displays, these super high resolution displays, they got rid of them. And actually, they were not needed anyways, since the current GPUs, 3090, they could not run those displays anyways at their own resolution. And whenever I played with the VR3, and all the people who had the VR3, when they played it, they couldn't make use of that focus screen. So they get rid of it. And because of that, the device is now much lighter. And it's like way lighter if you compare the VR3 with the Aero. So that is something that is better now. It now costs 2,000 euro before taxes, also cheaper, and there's no yearly fee anymore. And well, you saw probably my review. If you have not done so yet, absolutely do so. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on doing that review. So check it out. And there, basically, you will find all of what I had to say. I can put it into a nutshell before we go to the questions, probably from you guys. So it's the most beautiful visuals that I've ever seen in virtual reality, period. It is just so mind-blowing, photorealistic. And for those people who are already enthusiasts, like those enthusiast simmers who play Microsoft Flight Simulator, or who want to have the best racing experience and who have the setup at home already, where they already spent thousands of dollars for that kind of like motion seat and whatever, I would say go for it. really knock yourself out, enjoy it. If you want to have the best visuals in VR right now, go for it. Go for the $2,400 or euros and enjoy the best visuals, right? It's all about the visuals. And that's also something that I must also stress. The device doesn't have its own audio solution. There's a 3.5 millimeters headphone jack where you can like put your own headphones into it, and they do give you in-ear headphones, which work well, by the way, but it's not something like that would be integrated into the headset, like for example with the Valve Index or the Reverb G2, right? So that's something that you should keep in mind. Also, FOV wise, if you love huge FOVs, if you are a fan of the Pimax headsets, then this is not the same. This has an FOV of 100 horizontally. That's what I measured. So that is something like the G2 once you have already modded it. So this is something like normal, right? Like Oculus Quest 2, Reverb G2, and so on and so forth. So if it's about FOV, this is not the right thing for you. But if it's about visuals, if you simply want to have like the most mind-blowing visuals, then I would say go for it. It's just beautiful to see all of these games in this unbelievable resolution. Everything looks like you're looking at a glossy magazine paper, and yeah, it's really cool. It's really amazing to have that, and that would probably be my summary.
Well, here's the thing. So this headset, I mean, you said it earlier as well. This is like a simmer's dream headset, by the sounds of it. So for Microsoft Flight Simulator, for racing games and things like that, do you see this as being for people? Because some people are not just into simming, but they really enjoy simming and they're very enthusiastic about it. But they're also into a lot of other different types of games, like you, for example. Right. So and me actually. But what do you think? Is this really sort of focused, really laser focused on that simming market, or is it perfectly fine to use it as a complete gaming VR system?
Okay.
I mean, I suppose part of that question as well comes back to the fact that simmers are the ones that will drop $2,000.
Yeah. So they did the good targeting already, like calling it Aero. Yeah. I believe that's because of like the airplane simulations. That's what I think. Probably that's why it's called Aero. Also, it is a wired headset. Yeah. But it's wired to a gaming PC. Therefore, I believe it has the perfect application when sitting, for example, or when you are in this kind of simming situation, right? When you don't move so much, since it's not wireless, right? So I also played other games. Basically, I played all the games that I normally enjoy, right? Like Half-Life Alyx, Boneworks. I like this kind of games. Yeah. And it's still also for normal people like me who are not like our Steve, your flight sim guy. Hello, if you're watching this, too bad that you're not here. It's also a different experience to suddenly see everything in this kind of detail. Yeah. Like I played Half-Life Alyx again, and I was just like blown away by things that I simply didn't see before. I was again staring at that glove. Yeah. I've looked at this glove like with the Reverb G2 already, right? So long, and like, wow, I can't believe that there's even more detail. Everything looks fantastic, especially because something that I didn't mention right now, of course, how could I not mention this? The lenses. Lenses are so important for the visuals, right, Stan? I mean, you're making headsets. This is kind of important, right? What do you think? How important are lenses together with the display?
I think the optical block is the most important part of the
most important. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Finished. Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
So the optics. And from my experience now, I think I can also just say yes. I agree. The lenses are so important. Okay. The lenses must be so important. And here we have these spherical lenses, which means they are clear lenses. You don't have these Fresnel rings, which are causing God rays. This kind of problems when you have like high contrast scenes, white text on black background. Then you see all kind of God rays coming out of it. Like with the Index, I love the Index. But this is the one thing that really makes the Index not so nice for all kind of things. Yeah. If you play bright things, no problem. But if you get into darker things, if you want to watch a movie in big screen, no. You have all these kind of like flares, the lens flares. it's not so good.
I agree with that. I think it's probably fair as well to point out the advantages and the disadvantages.
You're right.
That
You're right.
So the disadvantages, I mean, generally they are thicker than Fresnel lenses, my understanding, generally, and a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
And also they tend to have this problem. And I know that the VR3, and I think from some reviews and some hands-on impressions of the XR3 as well, they have this issue of lens edge distortion. Now,
Yes.
This is something that I know you've mentioned on when you covered the VR3.
Exactly.
And also, I wanted to just bring up quickly, upload VR's review of the Varjo Aero, because Jamie Feltham in that review, he did mention that basically this is a big problem for him.
Right.
Whereas for you, you felt differently. You felt like it.
Right.
You could see a little bit, perhaps, but it wasn't an
right.
issue.
I think it's great that you bring this up. So, in my opinion, something like distortions are super individual. Like probably for me, it's okay, but somebody else will be completely blown away in a negative way by distortion in general, right? So everyone is so different. And for this experience now, first of all, I was using the VR3 before. I knew these distortions, and in all my videos that you can watch on YouTube, when I talk about the VR3, also when I did the through the lens videos, I always mentioned distortions, that they are really kind of strong. And if it wasn't for the unbelievable beautiful picture, I would be thrown off as well. But the beautiful resolution, it took most of my attention. But I totally understand it if people then say like, wow, that's too bad. I cannot enjoy that VR experience at all. So that was what I was expecting for the Aero when I got it. So I got it, and I asked the Varjo team, how do I run it? Do I use the same software, or do I get some new software? What's the deal? And so they told me, okay, check out the package. There's a new software version on a memory stick with your Aero. You have to deinstall the old one, put on the new version of this Varjo base, and then simply try it. And that's what I did. I tried it, and I was absolutely blown away by how much the distortion problem was improved by software. So I was looking up and down, and for the Varjo VR3, I saw this kind of a barrel distortion where like the bulge is going through the picture. If you look up and down, like, okay, that sucks, right? But it was gone, really, absolutely gone. Also, the warping on the sides was so incredibly improved. It really blew my mind. It's so good. And that's why in my review, I said, I don't think the normal person, like I don't regard myself anymore as a normal person, would see this even. And because I know like the PSVR also has the spheric lenses, and it also actually has distortions. Like if you sit like this, and then you just move the headset, but not your head, and then you look at some straight line, wow, it's going to like completely change like this, like pupil swim and all kind of stuff. So the same, and people don't really comment on the PlayStation VR and say, wow, this has terrible distortions. And that is why, in my opinion, this is already so way improved that people will not have this problem. However, I also, it's all about the software version. Then I got another version from Varjo that I updated, and then I had more distortion again. So it is so dependent on what kind of version you have.
Yeah.
You know, so probably Jamie from Upload, he had the super latest version where I also saw again more distortion because they want to fix something and then they reintroduce the problem there. So it is not, right now, it is not yet perfect for everything, I think. And but I'm very confident in the team that they will make it happen. Like the first version that I had on the memory stick, that's the one that I'm going to show people when they visit me at the MRTV headquarters. Because for me, that completely killed the distortion. Then they did a software update over the air. Then I had a bit again, but not as crazy as the VR3. So I don't know. What I believe is, I believe that Jamie from Upload VR, probably he had a different software version, and therefore he saw it more. But I don't know. Jamie, we have to check it out, right? What kind of version we were using. Anyways, this is a software problem that can get resolved, right?
Yeah.
You also use lens distortion profiles, right?
Of course,
Yeah, you have to do it.
You do so many iterations of the lens, of the calibration process.
Right.
This is normal. This is
totally normal,
It
right?
can be solved, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm not worried for Varjo about that.
Yeah. The same with me, really. I saw how much they improved this lens distortion profile from the VR3 that I used before to now to the Aero, that I can absolutely confidently say I don't think this is going to be a problem.
They have mentioned as well, and I think Jamie mentioned this in his upload review.
Yeah.
They are still working on this, and this will be a solved problem by the time it launches.
Right.
In December, is it? December, I believe.
I think December, yes.
So yeah, there's something to keep in mind. It was just something that I noticed particularly about that review.
Right.
I think Ben Lang on Votes VR mentioned it as well, but like you seemed less concerned,
right,
or didn't focus on that particular aspect.
Right. I think so. Yeah. So this is definitely something to still keep in mind. Like, I'm not saying like, okay, this is like completely gone, this problem, but I'm just saying like, I had a version where this was like not a problem, in my opinion, in my professional opinion. I think they could sell it like this already. So it's good that we talked about this distortion part.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Other than that, still for your question before. So yeah, all the titles that I played looked just amazing, just better. So yeah, I see myself playing Lone Echo 2 in this instead of like the Quest 2, just because it looks so amazing. It's yeah, you've probably seen my Through the Lens, the video of Lone Echo 1. Yeah, it feels like you are on that space station anymore. Now it's not like some comic thing. It's like you are there. It's freaking mind blowing. It really is.
Yeah.
This is really, really good. So. But still, of course, you have a cable, right? So wireless is better.
Yeah. So it's also, I mean, it looks to be as well quite a bulkier headset. What's the weight like?
550 grams around.
So
yeah, the Quest is also 500 grams.
So it's
but together with everything, then there's the cable talk, right? Probably you are then like with everything, probably 700 grams. Mm-hmm. But it's a very comfortable headset.
Yeah, it's got that strap, which is that exactly the same strap that was on the
same
VR3?
thing? Yeah.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, I don't like the strap particularly well because you cannot like flip it up, and then it's a problem. And it's also not for really huge heads. If you have a huge head and you want to get into it with your glasses, no. So they really need to improve that for the next iteration. And but for first hooray into consumer, it's solid. So for people who have the money, who want to have like the bleeding edge of visuals right now, I would say you can go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Any more questions?
Not really. I mean, it was mainly I wanted to focus on that side, just getting your perspective on the other side that people had on this headset.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think you covered it really in terms of the simming community, because to me that's where this squarely fits in.
Yeah, for sure.
And Steve, the VR Flight Sim guy, I don't think I've ever seen a more enthusiastic Steve.
Yeah, he was really happy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. That was interesting. But now we're going to talk about the Lynx. I mean, perfect.
It's funny because people on the live say, why the fuck is he in Lynx headquarters talking about Varjo? And someone else was saying, is he saying that Varjo is better than Lynx? I think we're doing completely different stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe you can tell more because you tried both products.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll tell
it's totally
more
different.
about that. Yeah.
Exactly. Also, still, I believe that we are all an XR family, right? It's amazing that there is now two cool companies here in Europe doing XR, right? Varjo and you, and it's amazing. I'm so happy that this is happening and that I can cover both of you, and it's cool. It's cool. Yeah. So now to the excitement, to this here. This is the Lynx R1. Wow, this is your baby, and you've been working on this for the last 2 years, and yeah, so you're. Finally, everything is coming together. Probably, again, you can tell in a short and concise way what this is for people who have really no idea, and then we go from there. Here it is, your baby.
So this is standalone, the first standalone mixed reality headset. So it can do VR, it can do AR, and it can do both at the same time. So what does that mean? It's really hard to convey. It's better to try.
Yeah.
Try.
It's really better
So
to try.
you'll tell people what you saw, what you experienced with me today. So we were all alone today on Saturday at Lynx office, and I made Sebastian and Gary tried some of our demos here that we've been working on with all the blocks coming together, like hand tracking, 6DoF, color pass-through, things where this device really shines. As a VR headset, there is nothing really special to say compared to, for example, the Quest.
Yeah, we've seen it before. We have seen it before.
We're not bringing something new on the market here.
Yeah.
But with the hand tracking we have and the color pass-through and the 6DoF, it brings so much more on the table. And you've only tried demos like that today, I think.
Right.
And you can tell the emotion it creates and also the use case it enables for the futures. So we are very proud to finally have finished this headset and bringing it to people. So the best way, if you want to be in the first one to access this device today, we are putting the priority on our Kickstarter ordering page. So there would be a Kickstarter link probably shared below the video. And,
I will do that.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And on that Kickstarter, you can order the Lynx Special Edition, which is this one, a transparent one, or the base model for a very affordable price. So this is basically what we're doing.
Right.
In a concise way.
It was really good. It was really very concise. And yeah, I really want to mention that this device cost $500.
Yeah.
So I backed you. I'm one of your backers. And I can just reiterate that, in my opinion, this is like a steal because it brings so many new technologies to the table, all put into one headset. And I think like for a startup company to be able to offer a headset like the Lynx for $500 is quite an accomplishment. Can you tell us how you make this price happen?
Yeah, sure. So before we had eye tracking on board and some of the features, and this summer we switched to consumer. We knew what the device was capable of, and we saw that there is a very strong market for mixed reality to create new games and new kinds of entertainment and creativity tools. So we made this huge bet that, okay, it's a professional device, but it also should be quickly a consumer device. So based on those volume projections that we made alongside Qualcomm and our partners, we cut some of the prices when you order the quantities you need to produce the headset. Right. And we're on the base model for consumer on the Kickstarter, we are not making any margin. So the price will go up after the Kickstarter. So this is why you should get one now, of course. But we are trying to get it as low as possible. I cannot detail all the prices of the components, and some of them are changing because there is drama everywhere on the supply chain for electronics components. But when we mentioned the lens, it's a plastic molded single piece.
Okay.
And it's really hard to design. It's really hard to iterate on that. So huge props for our partners in Spain, Limpac. But once you have the mold, it's $6 to manufacture.
Okay.
So all the components we're using are from the smartphone world, and the only thing that are not from the smartphone world is the lens. And the lens is not very expensive. When you compare that to other headsets that can also do augmented reality, it's really not expensive.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's very special. So let's make people understand what is different for this headset as compared to something like the Quest. and what this can actually do. And probably we should talk about what we experienced here, because I think people know already in general what is this about, right?
I think there's a lot of places now, but it's good to give an introduction into what it is again.
Exactly.
But yeah, there's been a lot of buzz around this headset for since the Kickstarter launched, and a few weeks before, it was really building up around that time. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to talk about what we tried. So the first thing, so you went first, Sebastian.
I did.
So why don't you go ahead and give a few of your impressions?
Okay, so first of all, I must say I think it's really important that now people are coming here, like us, or like before Kes and Cherry, and there's more people going to come and really look through it and tell people what they see. Because that, I must honestly tell you, I think like for the timing was a bit off when you started the Kickstarter, and basically people had to order this blind without anyone seeing it, right?
Exactly.
So I was thinking, okay, why didn't he bring me in earlier? Yeah, but it's just everything was like completely overwhelming, right? You were still working on the device and stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's for the timeline.
Yeah.
The people now coming after the Kickstarter has started. So that's simply something that I want to say. Like I believe for the timing, it would have been better if I was here at the beginning of the Kickstarter, but then some things would not be ready. But now, actually, like today or like yesterday, it was actually good that we came a bit later.
Absolutely.
Because now all the pieces came together for the headset, and you could really show us the end model with everything working, with the hand tracking working perfectly, right? With the pass-through, with everything, with the 6 degrees of freedom, everything working together in unison, right? And let me tell you what we did. So the first demo that you gave us was like a drawing app, I would say.
Like Tilt Brush.
Like something like Tilt Brush. So first of all, I put on the device, and what do I see? I see your office in pass-through mode. So in pass-through mode means that the cameras in front of the device, there are like 2 pass-through cameras. They take a video of the surroundings here in color. I think that's something special. I believe most of you out there have seen the pass-through of the Quest, which is not color, but here this is in color, also in 3D. And yeah, so I'm seeing your office and seeing you guys. They're in a really good quality. And also on top of that, and that's really what kicked me. I told you that, right? I have the human vision, FOV. Obviously, since it's my normal human vision. So the device is here. Probably I can simply show it. Like, yeah, just I have a big head, so so here we go. So here, for all people who are watching this right now, I see the office in pass-through mode, in VR mode, through this interesting lenses that we're going to talk about. But in my peripheral vision, I still see the office. Like right now, when I look forward, I still see Stan and Gary, because we have this wide field of view, right? It's pretty cool, and you see the office like until here in pass-through mode, and then there's the real office. So it feels like suddenly I'm wearing an AR headset with a human field of view, and I can just this is good. I can just compare that, for example, with my experience with the Magic Leap 1. When I was wearing it, like my field of view was constricted by the arms of the device. So I didn't have this. But this was really the first thing that was striking me, that I have that full human vision, and then the stuff that was projected to me in pass-through mode into the VR headset, it matched. It pretty much matched like the stuff that I see in the real world. And then on top of that, then when I put out my hands, I can see my hands, obviously, right, in the pass-through mode. And I also can see this, what you call it, the skeleton?
Skeleton, yeah.
The skeleton, right, which was done through your hand tracking. So the device, it can track my hands, like in a really lag-free way. There was no latency at all. I can do all kinds of funny things.
So it's integrated
That's the point.
motion
Exactly.
hand
It's the
tracking,
in Ultra Leap, the hand tracking is just good.
yeah.
It's just very fast with very little latency. And I have the HoloLens at home, the HoloLens 2, which is a nice device, which also does. Oh, you have it here. Perfect. Which is a very comparable form factor. Probably you could show it to the camera both. So it's a very, very comparable form factor, the HoloLens 2 and the Lynx R1. And the HoloLens 2 also has hand tracking. And I don't want to talk bad about Microsoft or the HoloLens 2. It's also a great device.
But you can.
But obviously I can also. I'm just comparing it now. And the latency of the hand tracking for the HoloLens 2 is like way higher than the latency of the hand tracking here. So the hand tracking, I don't feel any latency, right? You also have the same feeling, right?
Exactly the same, yeah. And also, it should be pointed out that during the demos that we had today with the hand tracking, you've mentioned that, this is still not finalized. There's certain things with the LEDs that need to be finalized as well. What was there was great anyway. But also, there was like a slight offset. There's some calibration that needs to be done with the hand tracking very slightly. I didn't actually notice that.
You told us,
yeah. Mentioned it, that I noticed it. So, but the hand tracking is something that I think we can focus on because it's better than, it's definitely better than the Quest 2 hand tracking. There's barely any latency whatsoever. And it's also, because it's got this Ultra Leap integration, which is generally regarded as the best hand tracking anyway, you've got varying things that you can do. The software version that they're using is the latest software version, Gemini, which allows sort of interlocking things and things like that. Is a little bit of occlusion.
Yeah, the Ultra Leap did a great job on their tracking algorithm, and now you can do things like this.
Yeah,
you can interlace the two hands better, and it's faster when you initialize the hands when they arrive in the frame. And you notice also the latency is still very, very good. So we're very happy to be working with them and to be the first company to bring their technology in an HND.
Right.
So it's a really great partnership.
Right. So so I saw my hands and that skeleton over my hands, and I saw it tracks very well. And that app that we tried, first of all, it allowed us to draw with our hands. So something like Tilt Brush.
Yeah.
But in mixed reality for the first time. So basically, I can walk around this room and I can simply draw something with my hands. And the great artist that I am, I of course directly did the MRTV logo, beautiful, and drew it into the air in front of the camera, and behind it was Gary, and that was like a beautiful thing to see. Like the MRTV logo was occluding Gary.
That's not very nice.
Yeah.
You want to see me?
Yeah, I saw you through the MRTV logo.
Yeah,
that's the best version.
Well,
of you.
The thing is as well with that is because everything. Because I've used Magic Leap 1, and I actually used the HoloLens today as well, and just the way that those technologies work, it's different to the way you were doing it. Of course, this is pass through. The advantage of that is anything that you paint in the air looks far more solid than it will in any of those devices.
That is the point.
It's something that stands out to you. It's how vibrant the colours are compared to the background, and how, it's a cartoony kind of thing that we were doing when we were drawing these things. It was just cartoons, but you can easily imagine something that was more lifelike, more fully rendered, more rendered by a professional, not as idiots just going like this in the air.
Yeah, right.
You can imagine how solid and how real that would feel in an environment like this. That combined with the fact that you've got video pass-through that can be carefully synchronized with these digital objects just gives them far more weight than some other technologies.
Yeah, right. And there's absolutely the advantage that I see over like optical AR, like for example, the HoloLens or the Magic Leap or these devices, because I simply could see the colors so super clear in the environment here, the MRTV logo here in the environment. Like with the other devices, it would be some kind of transparent MRTV logo where I can still see the things past it because it's simply optic. It's going to be tough to make real occlusion. But here, because I'm actually looking at a VR screen, you can perfectly occlude things.
Yeah.
So what really excited me, first of all, that part, and then everything is perfectly tracked in 6 degrees of freedom. So I can lean in, I can walk around it. The MRTV logo was rock steady here in the office, right? So I can walk around, I can draw with my finger, and the occlusion thing really kicked me because I was looking at it, and then I was putting my hand behind the logo, and my hand disappeared completely. And that is the thing that really made me feel like, wow, this is the thing. This pass-through AR is really better. And that I drew more, so I could have more barrier to put my hand behind, and it was gone. Okay, it's gone. Yeah, I loved it. What did you think about this part?
Yeah,
Was
absolutely.
it surprising?
Well, it was surprising, and I remember because Sebastian posted a video about this exact same thing on his channel earlier today, and there was a lot
unedited, live directly.
Exactly
5 minutes after we made this.
On the tweet as well that you sent out, you posted the behind the scenes how it worked.
Right.
Very very quick, spontaneous little.
So they were so excited for those of us who are watching. These guys were so excited that they immediately wanted to share what they were seeing. So it was really a success for us that the device was up to the game of MRTV and Gary here. So I was really happy to assist you in filming that with a smartphone, which is not the way we should do that, but the result is here. And for those of us who are curious about what Sebastian is telling about the MRTV logo being drawn in space, we did some recording that you're maybe going to share in
very likely.
Yeah, I'm sure. We did some recording on the display of what they saw, so you will really see only in 2 dimensions, but part of the experience they had.
But I'm really excited to see that footage, honestly speaking, that you recorded on your laptop for them to really see what was rendered on the display. So I will absolutely, obviously, that's why I'm going to show it to you, not just the 1-minute clip that I have on MRTV right now. And by the way, if you want to see also Stan's video, the making of that through the lens, follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Mixed Reality TV, and then you will find that video. And Stan is Stan Larroque. I'll put it downstairs if you don't know how to write that. Yeah. So I was so excited about this through the lens video that I directly wanted to post it. It's unedited, it's raw. You've seen it here. I posted it directly to my YouTube channel and then tweeted it. And I think that's what people needed.
Yeah.
People needed to see that this is real. This is not just some French guy making web streams and having like 500,000 Kickstarter euros. No. So I was so excited to share this. So I shared it right now that we're still here and we are live right now. And this happened like a couple of hours before. So do check my Twitter.
I would recommend people go and watch the video anyway, but just to very quickly describe it, you basically pull something.
Oh yeah, let's talk about this in the next.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Right. Exactly, because this was only the first. This was the first demo, right? This writing and this drawing into the air. So if you are excited about Tilt Brush, like the VR version of what we did, oh my God, this is going to blow your mind. You are in your normal space, like we are here in this office. You can run around with this device in your living room, in your space, and decorate it in the most awesome ways. If you're artistic, you can probably completely redesign your living space. If you're, I'm just imagining like artists having this, like who can really do something. Like you can even put Tilt Brush here because it's now open source, right?
Yeah.
You can put it here into this device.
We are in contact. We are in contact with the Open Brush developer.
Exactly.
We are going to have a lot of fun working with him, making it compatible with Lynx. That's for sure.
It's like you can completely redesign your living spaces. This is some kind of new interior design art.
Yeah.
Right?
Anybody that's used Tilt Brush before, anyway, what you were saying earlier about where you can create these creations in Tilt Brush, in VR, and walk around them, you know how that feels. But it's when you imagine doing that in your own space.
At scale of the real world.
Exactly, yeah. It adds an extra layer. There's zero doubt about that. It adds something extra onto that experience.
It's just so crazy. I'm just imagining, like in the future, let's say like our children will have a device like this, and they're not going to show us their drawings like, here, check what I drew. They would say, okay, come into my room, see how I redecorated my room, like how I designed my room, and it's like completely crazy. So this just showed me that this is a whole new category of VR headset, of XR, of mixed reality headset. Yeah, this is not a VR headset. So I don't even want to compare this with the Quest 2. Like we'll touch on that later after we talked about the experiences, right? But this is something completely new, bleeding edge, that is basically available right now. Okay, this will come out next year though, but it's really something different, something special.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. And like I say, we'll touch on the comparisons to Quest 2 and what we think of those,
Right.
and how we get to that. But honestly, my main takeaway from today is the fact that it's almost its own new category. And there were questions around that in terms of the contents and things, which I know we're going to get onto, because this is something that people really do want to find out about, so we'll get onto that as well. But yeah, you're right.
Right. So, yeah.
Maybe you can tell a bit more about this other demo with the solar system.
Yeah. Now this one Gary is going to talk about.
Okay, yeah. So this is the one that Stan made last night. You had this idea basically, didn't you? And so what it is, you find yourself when you put the headset on and you just wear it in the usual way that we did for the other demo, where you are pinching the air and writing, but instead, in this experience, you're completely enveloped in a giant. It looks like you're in space, and you've got the solar system in front of you. And then you can reach out and use hand tracking to grab the planets. You can knock the planets into each other and send them flying off.
Like billiards.
Exactly, yeah. So you send Mars flying off. You just knock the sun into Mars, and you send it flying off. So you think, where is that planet going? You take a few steps out and you suddenly realize that you're still within this space. The entire solar system is enveloped in this orb, this giant black orb, which is floating in this room. And you take a few steps out and all of a sudden you've got the sun pinched between your fingers and you're wandering around this space, and you can see the solar system over here. And you can wander around and go back into the solar system, into this completely surrounded VR environment. So it's this transition between VR environments, AR, and everything in between. This is the thing that really gets me excited about this device. And this is the video that you posted.
Right, exactly.
He pinches, he goes in, grabs the sun from this virtual environment, completely enclosed virtual environment.
I like how I grab the sun. It makes me sound very powerful.
Yeah. He grabs it and then takes a few steps out, and it's that moment in the video. You called it when we recorded that video. You said that's the moment, and it's the part when you transition out of a fully VR environment into an AR environment.
Exactly.
And even someone from my team that didn't test the demo sent me a message saying, wow, that's kind of the transition between VR and AR is very impressive.
This is really the kicker. That's really the thing in this moment, I think. When you're wearing the device, you are enclosed in virtual reality when you're in that orb, right? And you really have to watch my 1-minute video on my channel just to understand what I'm talking about, right? So in that moment, you are in VR. It's just like a VR headset. It's just like the Quest or whatever. Everything is just virtual world, right? The space around you, everything is just black. It is VR. It's this space in VR with the planets. And because this is just an orb where everything takes place, when you physically move out of that orb with that headset, you look at that black orb floating in this room here and going from VR out of this orb into the real world, but you still bring something with you from VR, that sun. That is freaking magic. Isn't it really? It made me so crazy today. I needed to post that right away through the lens.
Yeah, and you did, and that's great.
I did.
And we got some more footage that you're going to share in a few days or when you can, so people will really see the potential of the device. And those are tech demos. Those are just tech demos, not the final content you should expect. They are engineered and thought so we can demonstrate in 30 seconds, 1 minute, all of the features of the headset. You know, for example, the drawing app is a great way to demonstrate both the precision of the hand tracking and the 6DoF.
Right.
And also, you have the pass-through for free. And solar system, even better than that.
Right.
6DoF again, yet you have the hands tracked, and you can move between AR and VR. And that is something new, something I'm excited about, and I've been excited for that for 3 years. And I'm so happy to share it with people today.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, finally, yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
And so those are tech demos, but on the headset, we are going, when you buy the headset, you will have some of those sample apps where you will have like a sample game, like a few apps that when you just buy the headset, you can use it already to make funny stuff, you know, to have some creative experiences. But we expect a lot, of course, from the developers community. We are in contact with them on a daily basis. I just mentioned the Open Brush guy, of course.
That would make so much sense. Open Brush guy, please put it here.
But there are so many, like hundreds of developers that are begging us for devices. And the fastest way, again, for us to deliver the devices is to support us on the Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And to show people that people want that device and they want those experiences. So this will bring more traction and will help us accelerate the manufacturing with better volumes. So for all the developers out there, you can reach out. We're going to share SDK once we got the OpenX runtime ready. It's going to be there next month. So if you want to start developing for the Lynx R1, you won't have to wait until April 2022. You will be able to start before that. We're going to distribute a few hundred headsets before the commercial release. So if you stay in touch, don't hesitate to contact our team here.
Right. So that was pretty amazing. But people still want to understand, how does it look like looking through these kind of lenses? And let me show them once again, because it's just like so special. So I think now you can see it very clearly, this kind of clover-like shape, which is absolutely like nothing we've seen before. And that's also something that I wondered when I came here, that I was like curious about. How does it look when you look through these kind of lenses, when you're like used to looking through normal lenses? And I was thinking like, okay, there must be something wrong. There should be something where you can see like the converging of the 4 places, because you have like 4 pictures, quadrants that you let, and you are like distorting them in different ways to make the normal picture, right?
Yeah.
This distortion. And I was also wondering, how about sweet spot? What is going on with these? What's going on with this design? Yeah, Gary.
Well, yeah.
Your first impression.
You look at this lens, and that's the first thing that comes into your head. How can I ever see anything through this? And then you put the headset on, and it's very quickly, it's exactly the same as pretty much any other VR headset that you're going to try. It looks the same. Now, the other surprising thing for me is when you look at this lens, you think your eye has to be perfectly placed in the center of those lenses in order to get any kind of vision really at all. But the actual sweet spot in this is quite large, and it's got independent IPD, so you can move each eye independently as well. But I didn't find any issues with getting this aligned in a position that was comfortable and was clear. You could see everything very clearly. So it was a surprise. The other thing is about the field of view, because when you look at the lenses on the headset there, they've got these rubber barriers around them. And I think you mentioned earlier, it's to stop, if that touches your eye or something like that, to protect you. And you sometimes probably think, well, the field of view can't really be that great on this device. And I'd say it ranks very similar to something like the Quest, perhaps slightly smaller in what I tried today, but not a great deal smaller. But the impact of having a lens like this in terms of field of view, it's not like you've got a cut off in the corners or the diagonals or anything like that. It doesn't work like that. So in terms of how the lens appears and what you might expect and how it actually behaves when you're in there is different.
Right.
So it's
Black magic.
yeah, it's the same as a normal VR headset. That's the takeaway. It behaves the same as a normal VR headset.
That is exactly what I wanted to say as well. So yeah, when you are in the sweet spot, everything looks exactly like in any other VR headset, like the Quest or the Quest 2 or any other headset. And I didn't expect that. I just didn't expect that it could
No.
look normal.
Good surprise.
Really, no, I really didn't expect that it looks like a normal VR headset, because you would imagine, okay, something must be off. And I can only say, if you go out of the sweet spot, then yes, then it looks different.
Of course.
Like for some other headsets, then probably you can still see something, right? But here no. Here then it's different. But when you're in the sweet spot, and you can find the sweet spot pretty easily because it is a good sweet spot.
Thank you.
It is a good sweet spot. Then it's just like any other normal VR headset, which is pretty interesting. So probably you can allude to us again, like why you chose this kind of lens form factor, this special kind of lens.
It's quite easy. So first, thank you for the sweet spot. It's really something we've been working on it, iterating on with our optical partner. It's really important to get right for users that immediately get a good image on the headset. The design of that lens was chosen for different reasons. I think one of the most important one is that it shrank the headset. You can see how thin it is compared to a Quest.
Yeah.
Maybe we have a Quest 2 here. Maybe you can compare the size of the headset. So we wanted a smaller form factor. Yeah, you can see how slim it is. It's really amazing. Huge props to the mechanical team as well here. Pretty sure they're watching too.
Well done.
So why do you want a slimmer headset? It doesn't really matter if you're only doing VR. Like the Varjo headset, for example. It's a big brick you put in front of your head, but the experience is quite amazing.
It is.
And it's a good compromise. But for an MR headset, especially a pass-through one, you want the cameras to be as close as your eyes as possible to reduce the parallax. This is why you're aiming at a very small form factor. Mm-hmm. And then the lens has other very good optical properties. Like, for example, at the center, the 4 quadrants come together and we are doing pixel interlacing. Mm-hmm. So this is quite interesting. This is why you will notice almost no screen door effect like on the Quest 2. Even though the lens has a very weird geometric shape, and of course you say to yourself, well, this can't work.
This is the first thing that comes to mind. Like, what is this thing?
Yeah, exactly. But it's quite magical, and it requires, like, one of the downsides of using that lens is that we need a very precise calibration with each display.
Okay.
So if you need to replace the display, you also need to replace the lens as well. So the full optical block comes together. Mm-hmm. And we have a process for doing that. It's quite complicated, but we mastered that now, and it's quite efficient. But yeah, I'm glad you had a good optical experience. Yeah. It's really hard to achieve, especially on the new architecture like that. I think we're the first HMD to do something really different for the optics, like not a spheric lenses or hybrid thinner lenses, but a freeform prism. That's really a first for this kind of HMDs.
Yeah, right.
The other thing to mention as well, while we're just on that topic, because I remember seeing that original video that you guys posted through the lens with the GoPro that you mounted, and it was the planets floating around this office.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't notice it initially, but in that video, you can very faintly see the quadrant line in that GoPro video. And I had a comment about this, check this out.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that you will not notice anything like that when you're in the headset at all. Yeah. And even in that video, it was very, very faint.
Okay.
It took somebody to point it out to me before I even saw it. But I can reassure you will not see that when you're in the headset at all.
Totally agreed. It was just like a normal VR experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then probably we should also comment on the quality of the VR. Like how is the resolution? It's a 1600 by 1600 per eye, which is okay, but it's not the highest.
No.
Right? It's the same like the Vive Flow, but it's not the same displays like the Vive Flow, is it?
I'm pretty sure we are using the same displays.
Okay.
But the difference is we might use the same display, all right?
Yeah.
It's either coming from GDI or BOE. I don't know. It's basically the same specs. LCD 1600 by 1600. But since we are doing some pixel interlacing, maybe the image will appear more sharp on the VR than the Vive Flow. I don't know. I didn't test it.
Yeah.
We will, like all the
I will
other
test it
headsets.
on my channel soon. I have to buy it.
Yeah, we'll buy one. We will test it. We will characterize the display here, and I will get back to you about that.
Sure. Okay, but probably the same display like the Vive Flow. Anyways, it's the same resolution, 1600 by 1600. Gary, what is your impression of the visuals? Like, how do they compare to headsets that people know outside there?
Well, I think the first thing to mention is the demos that we had here today, they weren't purely VR demos. They were mixed reality demos. So they were using the pass-through mode, hand tracking, 6 degrees of freedom, and they were based around that today. Just quickly, while we're on that point, we should mention that if you want to use this as a VR headset, just to answer any comments.
This is important.
Light leakage is not going to be a problem if you want to use this as a VR headset because you get this interface. Bringing it out like that.
Yeah, I think, and you know what? I also heard lots of comments about this from my German community. They said, okay, why doesn't he show that more often?
Yeah.
Because the thing is really, like people thought who want to use it as a VR headset or in VR mode, it's ridiculous. All the light that's coming in.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Well, it's always on the comments are on every live stream you do, they're on every video that I've seen about this headset. So just to make it really crystal clear, that is how you use it as a purely VR headset.
And it goes there with the magnet, right?
So you have every piece of fabric is using magnets on the headset, including the VR facial cover. So it's you can remove it very easily during runtime. And you can wash it with your washing machine.
Okay, the whole headset.
No,
not yet. That was a bad joke.
Not yet.
Just to get back to the resolution then on that, what was your original question? And so keeping in mind what we saw today was through the context of it being a mixed reality experiences. Now, the pass-through on the cameras, the resolution didn't bother me at all, and on the digital objects. And we had a discussion about this earlier, where we were talking about when we were pinching the air and drawing these objects, they were very, very sharp and very crisp. And then you've got in the background, you've got this pass-through image. Now, you mentioned as well, what we're seeing here in this is not what is going to be representative of the final image of the pass-through anyway. And it was great, there weren't anything that absolutely stood out to me. The thing that did stand out to me is the light balance and
the white balance.
The white balance, a bit of the pass-through cameras. But this is something that needs to be sent off needs to be calibrated, basically, in a sense. So that's still something up in the air. So what I will say is, from what we saw today, the resolution seemed absolutely fine, especially on those digital things that we were painting and that we were seeing. That solar system looked fantastic. There was zero problems in terms of resolution there at all. I would just say that with the contrast of this pass-through that we're seeing, the digital objects on top, I would say that we could, once we get that improvement on that pass-through, I think that's the finishing touch that will make it.
Exactly. And we are actively working on that. So we were tuning the camera driver a lot to get the latency right, etc. And now we are down to the last mile of tuning the color, the color matrix, the white balance, and all the camera tuning that needs to be done. But this is software. This is software only. And right now we're in this process of finishing to tune that. So what you experienced was, in terms of perceived resolution, 2/3 or 3/4 of what you will get in the end, really.
That makes sense. That's why I was thinking I'll bring this up during this time with resolution, because that was the effect as well. It looked like you had this a little bit of noise with the pass-through, which is another reason why this will be calibrated and bring that back up to a better all-round quality. But
Okay. So for my thoughts about the quality of the visuals in terms of the VR headset, I also would say it looks good. It is Yeah, comparable to Quest 2, probably a bit less than Quest 2, a bit better than Quest 1. I think that was commented before also, like it's somewhere between there. And I would totally agree with that. And I think we saw the VR picture when we were in space, in that orb. Then it was just pure VR. And then, I would say, this is a good VR picture. Something that is absolutely in order. Good.
Keeping in mind you're coming directly from the Varjo Aero as well.
Oh my God. Okay, this is not as good as the Varjo Aero picture. Yeah? This is clear.
Yeah.
But this is a standalone headset.
And not the same price.
Not the same price, exactly. You can get it for $500 now, and it does other things, right? It's a mixed reality headset. We're going to get to that part very soon. Like who is it for? What does it do? I think that's other questions that are on people's mind. And I would also like to talk about the pass-through, the picture of the office here that we saw. So color, yes, it's great. It's really good to see color pass through, to see the quality. And just like Gary has mentioned, it is not perfect yet. I also saw some noise for some area of the pictures. And you said you can still improve that. You're probably at 80%, you said?
Yeah, 80-90% of the calibration. Yeah, it's getting there.
It's getting there.
This is just quality tuning.
Okay.
It's something that all cameras need to go through.
Right.
We finished the 6DoF cameras and the hand tracking. They're done.
Yeah, right.
And
They were perfect. They were perfect. Perfect. You're right.
They're doing their job.
Yes.
And now we're finishing with the pass-through feature. So on the footage you're going to release to people that we filmed together, they will see that the white balance is sometimes changing, and maybe it's more noisy than the virtual objects.
Yeah.
But we're working actively on that, and you will see on the next videos we're going to post in the coming weeks, it will only get better.
Okay, yeah, that's great to know, because even now it was already really cool to see something like this and see something like this working. You saw my first reactions. Right, when I pulled that sun out of that orb. I love that. And again, I'm going to watch this again. But there you can see very well how it looked, because it was the through the lens video that I took, and he took, one of your colleagues took. He took the video of us making that footage. So you know how we made this. It is really through the lens, and there you can simply see it. And I loved it. I was pulling out the sun out of this orb, and then Gary was in the back and waving, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is just cool. With this through the lens, the videos, you can just see what we saw, and that was really also our purpose for coming here, to be your eyes, to really be your witness and tell you what we saw. So that I think was really important for lots of people to get a confidence to know, is that real? Is that a real product or what? Or what? Yeah, so I think that was really important. And visuals, good for a VR headset, for a standalone headset, somewhere between Quest 1 and 2. And looking forward to see the pass-through even get better. Yeah, one more little thing that I saw, and just to comment on everything that I saw, I saw a bit of a parallax problem when I was turning left and right. As in, you can tell that the cameras are not at your eyes. Yeah, but the cameras are a bit there. So there is some parallaxing going on where you can tell, okay, this is still not real, right? So, is it a known problem?
It's a normal phenomenon, and we're also working on ways of projecting the pass-through image. Right now, it's on the plane. And we will project that on the sphere, so it will look more natural. So we're also testing the software, different ways to project the images. It should get better as well.
Okay.
Also, something you might have not noticed, but the rolling shutter effect, when you move your head like that, you can maybe perceive the rolling shutter of the camera doing stuff like this.
Okay.
And we already have a way to compensate for stuff like that, with the IMU and the motion vectors used here to compensate.
Okay.
So what you're seeing, we're seeing it as well, and we're the first one to see everything we can improve, and everything we can for the version 1. We're going to improve that.
Yeah. Okay.
Until the commercial release.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah. Right. So this is cool, but again, this is an unbelievable accomplishment, in my opinion, for your team. And to show us this demo, everything works as we expected. That is really cool. Mm-hmm. That is really cool. Yeah.
And people, now that you experience the device, you've seen online that people are worried about SteamVR and controllers.
Yeah. That's a
Maybe
good
you can
point.
give a bit of opinion about that. I just
Yeah.
wanted to mention that SteamVR will be supported. We already have something working through CloudXR, but for the final users, it will be through OpenXR. So there is a direct bridge, and we are discussing with the SteamVR people here. You will be able to use Lynx as a SteamVR playing headset, but
Yeah. But honestly,
you want to do something else.
Yeah, and that would be the next topic that we will talk about anyways.
Yeah.
So honestly, this is not a Quest 2 competitor, in my opinion. Like zero.
Yes.
Like for people who are expecting they're going to buy this and then they don't need a Quest 2 in order to play their games, to stream SteamVR or to play some standalone games. No, not at all. This is not your headset. Do not back the Lynx. Sorry to tell you this, but this is really absolutely not that. Like if I want to play SteamVR games, I'm going to put on my Valve Index, or I'm going to use my Quest 2 in wireless mode, which is perfect now with AirLink, right? I'm not going to back this device, which is it is a capable VR headset, yes, right? We've seen this part, but this is not your headset to play SteamVR games.
It's so much more.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
It is. It really is a different category of headset.
It's you don't back it if that's all you want to
No.
do. That's
You
the
don't
point.
back it. In my opinion, you don't back it if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the takeaway.
But you still can.
You still can.
Yeah, if you want, yeah, but you don't want.
The takeaway is that this is almost a new category of VR headset.
It
anyway.
is, I think.
But the AR aspect, the mixed reality aspect, is the thing that really separates this from the Quest 2. If you are looking to just get an alternative to a Quest 2 and only use those functions, this is probably not the headset for you.
No.
But if you can use it for that. You can stream Steam VR games.
No, I haven't played. I haven't used it.
We haven't used it, but we're told that you can stream Steam VR games.
Yeah.
You can use it like that if you want to. We haven't tried that, but it's got all of these extra capabilities with AR. Now, the obvious question beyond that, which we'll get to in a second after we've spoke about this a little bit more, the obvious question beyond that is, well, if I'm using this as an AR headset or a mixed reality headset, what do I play on it? What will I use it for?
Yeah,
so
right.
we'll get onto that as well.
Exactly. But I still wanted to talk about like Steam VR and controllers. So I see controllers there on your colleague's desk, and I was totally not interested in that. Like, no, really, that's the thing. Like when you have done that demo where you see the office in pass-through, and you see your hands and you draw with your hands, you use your hands in order to take that sun and plug it out of that orb and put it somewhere else. And you do this, and then there's a menu. You click on this, and you choose a different color. Just like if you are in Minority Report, why would I want this ridiculous controllers in my hands? No, really. So yes, of course, if you want to, if for some reason you want to play Steam VR with this headset, probably you will need these controllers.
Yeah.
But honestly, in my opinion, again, this is not a headset to play your Steam VR games. This is not a headset to play Onward on or any of these games. They are way better headsets for playing VR games with a wider field of view, with perfectly made software like the Quest, right? Which gives you this capability with a better quality of VR for less money, but you have to give away your details, your privacy details for Facebook, right? But this is another topic. But this is not meant to play VR games, in my opinion.
I don't want to go too hard against that direction, honestly, because I think.
Why would I?
Well, you wouldn't purchase it just to do that. That's my point with this.
Yeah.
You wouldn't purchase it just to do that. However, if you've got an interest in this AR side, but then you want to play some Quest 2 games, and if the developers port it over, then then there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to use this device for that with the controllers.
Agreed.
So you do have the flexibility with this device as well. I think that's something to point out.
Yes,
it's not like you're closed off from that side.
That's
you've still got that.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to talk this down as a VR headset, but I just don't think that people who want a Quest 2, not from Facebook, should get this device.
No.
And I also told you this in private, but I'm also going to tell you now in public again. Yeah. Like what I was wondering when you first came out with this Kickstarter and when you did this pivot toward consumers and to a more broad audience, why did you say that this is going to be like a Quest 2 competitor?
So it was more on the privacy standpoint, which is also a good point. We'll get to that later on. Right. But I think when we designed Lynx 2 years earlier, it was really to be a HoloLens killer. And I think it does a great job at that.
That is the exciting point. In my opinion, like I have the HoloLens 2 at home. And I also bought it. I bought by all the stuff, as you know, right? And it set me back like 3,500 euros or something like this. It was over 3,000 euros. And the HoloLens 2 is really a nice device. However, like it has a super small FOV and the display quality, unfortunately, is not up to snuff if you don't like rainbows. No, the thing is, this has like a strong rainbow effect. Yeah, sorry, dear Microsoft, but really, it has a very strong rainbow effect. So if you see some kind of like white plane, it's gonna be all over the place. It's not white. It's just like some rainbow color, and like this here, I can totally tell that you designed this as a HoloLens killer because it has like a very similar form factor, right? But it's like these play in two different leagues. This tries to do optical AR, as in like see-through AR. You see your normal world, and then some image is projected into it. And this here, you also see your real world, but with pass-through. And comparing these two next to each other, this is so much better. This is just so much better because you have a wider field of view. You have like perfect occlusion, which can happen thanks to your sensors and because of VR, because you're looking at a VR screen. So I'm just thinking that the companies who probably use the HoloLens right now for 3,500 euros, they could absolutely consider to get this here instead for like 900 euros for companies. That's a company price, right? It's also not expensive. It's like 1/3 of the price of the HoloLens 2. But yeah, you can also flip it up, and just like this one, right? But you have like a wider field of view. You have like a more beautiful picture of the reality.
You can use it outside.
You can use it outside. This is
new.
This is new. And you have even a smaller form factor. So I really think for all the companies that are using the HoloLens now, you should absolutely at least buy one of these, right? To check, to evaluate if this is probably better. And in my direct comparison, I come to the conclusion that this is better in lots of ways. The hand tracking is way better. The pass-through is better. And it's cheaper. So for these companies who are using the HoloLens right now, I would say get one of these devices just to evaluate it, and probably you're going to replace your HoloLens 2s with this device. So that's something that I really want to drive home that point. And therefore, I simply want to make people understand what this can do. This can do what this can do. And is it easy to port like a HoloLens app over to your device?
It's fairly easy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It should be a matter of a day or two for a developer that did an application on HoloLens, really.
Right. What do you think about this?
Yeah. Well, from my point of view, the Lynx is a more practical device for the use cases that Microsoft are trying to go for with the HoloLens. The reason being is the HoloLens probably represents a way of doing these things, which is, the dream which just can't be accomplished at this moment in time. a pass-through AR, a transparent AR, optical AR kind of device would be the dream. Unfortunately, the technology just isn't there to do it at this moment in time, and it can't be used in the same practical way that the Lynx can in that use case. So for me, I'd say the Lynx is a more practical AR device than the HoloLens from what I've tried.
Yeah. You're right. That really makes sense.
And it does VR for free.
And it does
on the
VR
side.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You just have to put the thing there.
Well, this is the thing as well, and just touching back on the VR side, because it's XR2, the Quest is XR2. OpenXR will hopefully be coming soon.
Beginning first or second week of December. Yeah, still on target. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but also porting games over from the Quest 2, if developers choose to do that, will be very easy for them to do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Do I imagine it like this? Let's say there is a Quest game. Okay, now we're talking about Quest games again. I don't know why, but anyways, it makes sense because it's also a VR headset. Let's say you have this Quest game, and the Quest game is programmed against the OpenXR standard. And once you have your controllers running, does it mean that I can simply put the game here and it's going to run?
So the developers will have to recompile it and make a version for our OpenXR runtime, but it will be 10 times easier than what happened before in the industry when OpenXR wasn't there, and you had to basically redo all your code.
Right.
But yeah, you can reuse 95% of what you did for your application. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So again, in my opinion, like this is amazing for companies that are using the HoloLens 2 now, and who are probably looking for something that is better, that can be used outside, right?
Yeah.
This is really something. I believe. I also believe that this is like being in a candy store for developers who are excited to make something completely new.
Yeah.
When I was thinking about it, and in the beginning of our talk, I talked about drawing and redesigning your space, and I was kind of fascinated by the thought that this opens up a whole new world for designers, how they can design things. And I really think that this is for developers like being in a candy store and having like so many cool tools in one headset.
Absolutely.
So in a way, that's what I said, in a way, this is like a DK2 for mixed reality.
You can say that, yeah.
That's how I see it right now.
Yeah.
So
it will pave the way for the future of what I think is truly mixed reality.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I also saw. So wow, I can't wait for those developers, these very skilled developers, to show us what would be possible once they get this, right? And this is what I'm really looking forward to. So tell us, like, for the people who get it, okay, developers, they will get it and they will do something interesting with it. How about like early adopters like me, who are excited about this technology and to do something like this, like running around my room and drawing something? Those people, what can they do with it when they get it? And what kind of content? How will they get new content? Is there going to be some kind of store where you can get content when developers have something and they put it there? And I can just remember in the early days of the DK2, Oculus did have some kind of experimental, not even store, where developers could put their experiences and others could still try it. Are you going to have something like this?
Absolutely. And what people will be able to do, like the early adopters, like we have three kind of customers, and you pinpoint them very clearly. Professionals that want to, for example, use augmented reality for training and all the stuff they want to do with HoloLens, but isn't working at the time for a bunch of reasons. Then we have the developers, and they will have a lot of fun with the device, that's for sure. And we can't wait to work with you. And then the early adopters, of course, people like you and many others that are buying the headsets that are doing a pledge on Kickstarter right now. These people will both be able to use apps that are coming with the device, like I told you, like sample apps, okay? And then we'll have a store where they will immediately be able to try what the developers that also bought them and work on the device a few months earlier will do. So I'm not worried about content distribution. I'm just worried about people not understanding that this device can provide a full spectrum of immersive technologies. So people usually come from the Quest 2. This is what they know.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
And it's great. It's a great product. I want to tell them tonight that the Lynx can do everything they know about the experiences you have in the Quest 2, plus all the other stuff we mentioned and you tried today, that are new and that are going to open the doors to completely new experiences. And this is what I really wanted to say tonight about what people will really do with that. So of course they will game, of course they will do all kinds of fitness, entertainment, communication, like collaboration, and new stuff that we can't even really name yet, right?
Yeah, that's the point that I'm excited about. Like this experience, like drawing in this room. There's something completely new.
Yeah.
And we don't know even yet. Or like being in this orb and coming out. Like what kind of cool, interesting games can you make with this? Like location-based games where you see a reality, but then you see some kind of portal, you go through, and then boom, you are in VR.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. That's what it was like today. We're using that for that demo. It's like you're in VR, you're in this alternate reality, and then you step out, and all of a sudden you're back in your own reality. One of the other applications that I could see developers really getting into with this, and it's alongside sort of education kind of applications, but consumer-based education. So here's a thing that somebody's done on like the Quest 2 pass-through, which is a piano tutorial thing.
Yeah.
This could do that exactly easily, much better than the Quest 2 can currently do it at, because it's clearer pass-through, and it's full color. You can have your piano in front of you. You can have a tutorial which is displaying all of these augmented things, which are solid. By the way, they're solid as they go on top of the keys and teaching you how to play certain songs. You could have applications like that. That's just one thing. Then you've got this other thing where you could have a Pokemon. I mean, I mentioned this earlier, but imagine an official Pokemon thing, which
not going to happen, probably.
Not going to happen, but that's the kind of thing that would separate this entirely and still remain squarely in the consumer space. I think that's it's not just for the business, it's not just for the companies or just for the professionals.
You're right.
We are going to show in the next few days a very cool demo that I couldn't show you today. And you will hate me because it's a very exciting one where the headset is capable with the 6DoF cameras to do mesh reconstruction and plane detection. Okay. So once you know where the horizontal planes are and the vertical one, you know where are the walls in your room.
Yeah.
And then you have this understanding of the scene around you in real time.
That's important, obviously.
It's very important, especially for mixed reality, right? And then you can have this Iron Man fist where you can make a hole in your wall virtually, and it will detect the wall and knows where it is, and it will dance, and you will see the shadow of the crumble on the ground.
Gary, we came too early.
This is we did, because that's very similar to like the Dr. Grodbort experience on Magic Leap 1, where it does these things, it crumbles, goes to the floor. And that's one thing we did. We came too early because that was one of the things I would love to have tried.
Yeah.
And this mesh, the occlusion mesh and the surface mesh. And then you mentioned something about like it being aware. So it's got like context behind it as well. It understands this is a table.
Yep.
And
so depending on what you want to do with the game or the application, a developer will be able to tap into APIs into the headset where you can detect an image or a 3D object and track it in space, and then label that with artificial intelligence, saying, "Hey, this is a chair, this is your couch," and stuff like that.
And also with that, then, so supposing it created this room mesh, and you had a stool that you could then move somewhere, would it then become aware that the stool had moved? Or would that involve, because the way it works on Magic Leap 1, for example, you have to take 5 minutes to map a room, and once it's mapped, it has to stay
the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Is there something that you're working on where it could change, or is that something that
so this
really? stuck in software.
This is something that Qualcomm is working on, I know, with Wikitube. So I can't give you an answer, but I'm hoping that it will do something for that kind of situation.
Is this the same thing you mentioned, I think, during the live stream as well, where you mentioned like you're holding something and it knows that this is like a solid thing moving in space?
Yeah.
And it can
like Vuforia or Wikitube, like you can track a. You don't even need 6DoF if you just want to track a 3D object, and it will track it in your field.
Mm-hmm.
And for professionals, it's very important. HoloLens does that too.
Okay. And it can anchor digital things to that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have a good friend in Germany, and he's one of those developers who is doing like mixed reality stuff, and he built his own glasses before with a Mini or something.
Z-Mini, yeah,
right, and all kind of cool things. And he wrote some questions that I should ask you, and I really want to ask you this question.
Okay,
now we're geeking out here, by the way.
Yeah. We are here for that.
Yeah. Okay. So can this do real-time depth map, and what is the resolution and range?
So we can do real-time depth map, and we do the depth map with the 2 tracking cameras for 6DoF. They are 92 millimeters away, and usually the rule of thumb for depth estimation is you multiply the baseline by 35, and this is
35.
35, so 92 millimeters, basically almost 10 centimeters, and we multiply that by 35. We'll have a depth estimation between 2 and 3 meters.
Okay, all right, good, perfect answer. Then, is there a special shader for merging video pass-through?
For merging video pass-through?
Is there a special shader for merging video pass-through with virtual objects?
Yes, so that's a great question from, I know someone who already worked on that, and there is a way where if you want to have the virtual objects and make them part of the environment, we have a shader. We are right now writing a shader where we are diminishing the quality of the virtual objects so it feels it belongs to the pass-through feed.
Okay.
So we had noise to the objects, exactly. and the kind of mimic the same color, and it will be part of the SDK as well. Yeah.
Okay, and then directly the next question: SDK features. Is there lighting and shadows, and is there plane detection in the SDK?
Absolutely, and we also provide transparent planes where you can cast shadows on, and that works really, really well.
Right. Then another question: how loud is the active cooling? So probably I can talk about this one a bit. When I made the through lens video, you could hear it very clearly, but that's because the very good microphone was directly there. Exactly. But if you wear it, you will hear the sound coming out of the speakers, and it was no problem for me. Did you?
I didn't even notice it.
You didn't even know?
No, I didn't notice any noise from the active cooling though.
Thanks. And the goal right now for us is to optimize everything that is running on the headset, and to diminish the speed of the fan that is in front of the headset. So you really shouldn't hear anything from the headset.
Yeah, right.
Even using it at maximum power. And trust me, we're pushing the XR2 chipset to its limit. 6 cameras, 2 high-speed displays. It's really hard for the mobile chipset to achieve that. So we're asking a lot, and the thermal engineer or mechanical engineer did a great job at putting the heat out of the headset very efficiently.
Right. Cool. There's another question. I think I can already answer it, but is there IPD adjustment also for the RGB cameras? I believe no, right? Or do I misunderstand it?
No, you're right. So the color cameras you're having at the front are not moving, but we have when you move the lens, when you move your IPD, we have something that gives us back the position you're at. So we can move the projection, so you will always have the stereo match on the projection of the color pass-through. So they can't move. So the short answer is they can't move, but you should always have a good stereo image, whatever is your IPD.
Okay.
Just on that point, because correct me if I'm wrong, I think you mentioned before that you did experiment with having moving cameras.
That is true.
And it didn't make enough of an impact.
Very, very low impact. And a lot of complexity way more complexity on the mechanical parts inside the headset.
Yeah.
So we dropped that.
Okay.
You know, the best feature is no feature. So if it's not useful, just cut it down.
Yeah.
Right. That makes so much sense. Cool. I would like to give our live viewers, and there are quite a few live viewers, the chance to also like join the discussion now and simply ask questions. So now I'm seeing the chat. So if you have any specific questions for Stan right now is the perfect time to ask them, because I will then ask the questions to you, right?
Just quickly then, if we wait for a few seconds for some questions to come in. I've just got a couple here because these is something that we touched on, but somebody did ask me to ask you about the passive use cases. So somehow having like a UI that within you can use within real space. So with the AR pass-through, and you can just pin a YouTube window or something like that, and also the integrated apps that you might provide at launch with this, something like a media viewer or something like that, where you can pin windows. Is that something?
Yes, we will provide sample apps to browse files, having some media played on a plane on our 360 sphere. That is something that will definitely come with the device. And you mentioned, like, the question also mentioned 2D apps running in 3D. We're working on that. It's quite complicated to do on Android. But we're working on that, and that will work on the commercial release.
Okay. Yeah, that's. I think we've basically covered everything else that I already had. So productivity use cases as well. So here's the other thing. Because one of the things that I would love to use this device for is like a replacement for a laptop or a tablet, for example, where you can pair it with a Bluetooth keyboard or something along those lines, pin Windows up, and use Google Docs on a window. And just use it for productivity use cases. Presumably that's all fine with this device as well.
Yeah, you can have multiple screens around you, and when you're not using the VR cover, you can directly see your keyboard.
Yeah.
With a direct view, and you can connect it with Bluetooth. We have Bluetooth on the headsets. You can connect your AirPods, like your audio or your keyboard and your mouse. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I can fire now. Yeah. Cool. Great questions. So thanks for all of the questions. Hello, Eric Hartley. Eric asked Stan, what would you feel the most important feature that you couldn't include into the R1 that you'd say would be a must for a later device?
Huh.
A good question, right?
I think there are two answers I can give. I would have put more face tracking stuff.
Okay.
Or same value here for me, some time of flight sensor for more faster and more accurate depth map estimation.
Okay.
Those are the two things on the top of my mind.
Okay, cool. Then, Immersive Matthew. Hi, Matthew. How does the Lynx cast the right light onto virtual objects in the pass-through image? Yeah, that's a good question, though.
Oh, okay. You mean like, are we doing like an ambient light detection to apply on the virtual objects?
Probably. Yeah. That's how I understand it.
Yeah.
So this is not on. This is not something that is working right now, and we'll look into that one.
Right.
But we don't have that today.
Right. Johnny Bells, where are the devices manufactured? How long until shipping?
So they are manufactured in Taiwan with Compal, which is a very big OEM working with Qualcomm and all the big electronics guys. We're very fortunate to work with them. And the first shipment, so we'll have a few hundred first devices coming in January.
Okay, great. Then Anthony is in the house, VR365. Sebastian, asking if this is partly based on Qualcomm's prototype, because they do have like prototype.
So they have reference
designs. Yeah.
So Qualcomm provides reference designs, but we were inspired by them, but we changed so many stuff. If you know what they look like, you can tell that we changed everything around.
Right. So you got some, you're working together with Qualcomm. I think that's a
Yeah.
big help also, right? To get the
Absolutely.
manufacturing lines,
The know-how,
the know-how, everything.
Yeah, Qualcomm is a huge partner, and we are very proud to work with them on XR.
How long does the battery last?
So it lasts around 3 hours at full charge.
Okay. One question for me. Compare the Unreal FOV and the device overall. Okay, I can tell you that the FOV is way better. So the FOV here is, you have 90 degrees, I would say, horizontally, which is like on par with the Quest 2, something around this. And the Unreal, it has probably like 50.
Oh.
So it's much smaller. And well, if you use this in pass-through mode, you have your whole, you still have your whole human FOV because you see the stuff that is around you.
One of the things as well with that, just on that point, where you have the lenses, then you have a very small barrier before you see the outside world. It's almost as if your brain removes that small barrier before you get to the outside as well.
Yeah.
So it is almost like a full human field of view, really. From that point of view, that's something that I noticed.
So I also saw in the comments slide that some people can be fed up by, us at Lynx saying, "Oh, it's coming soon," or "We don't have that." You know our situation, and you know that people see us as a hardware company, but we're more like a product company. And we just finished the hardware, and we're getting into the software stack and address everything. So when we say that it's not there yet, but it's coming, it's really on our roadmap, and we're just getting there. We don't have all the resources to work in parallel on all the features that already exist in HMDs that come from teams that are way bigger with more resources. We're trying to catching up here.
Yeah.
But it's trust me, we're putting resources there, and we are hiring people and getting investment for addressing all that.
Okay, then one more from Anthony via 365. You should come back on the show. About Qualcomm, they're working on scene recognition and understanding software. Have you heard about this? And isn't something that this could probably use?
Absolutely.
Okay, so absolutely yes.
So they're, for example, the depth estimation. To get back to that question,
It comes from them.
We can do depth estimation with the stereo matching or with a neural network.
Okay.
And depending on what you do and the quality you need and how fast you need all that, Qualcomm will provide us with a solution that we're going to integrate and make available to developers.
Right. So I would like to ask you another question. And it's probably from me as well. So without a doubt, this is the future. I think we're sitting here right now looking at this headset, and pass-through mixed reality, pass-through AR, in my opinion, and in your opinion, obviously, is the future as compared to like look-through AR.
Absolutely.
Because this is just like, I have direct comparison here, right? Because I saw both devices and see what this can do. This is absolutely the future. And we're sitting here doing this podcast, talking about like us being the first people to have tried it, and really it works. Now the question, for sure, other players are going to come to the market. Facebook is going to come. They do it now with the Quest 2. They will have the Quest Pro, probably also colored pass-through, billions of dollars behind them. Apple going to come as well on the market with power, with force. Now, we're sitting here in France in this small office, and two questions. Do you think you can keep your competitive advantage that you have right now, even against those huge players? And why do you think, or can you make a point, why people who are watching right now, who are listening to this right now, should support your company right now?
It's a long and complicated question.
I know.
And I will try not to give a long and complicated answer.
You can give a long answer.
I think about the question to why you should support us.
Yeah, let's start with this.
Especially when you see Facebook across our streets here. I think what we're doing is good and important. It's good and important because it's good. It's a good device. It has great specs. It's very capable. Okay, so the device itself, it's intrinsic. It adds value, and then it's important as a company, and that is beyond AR and VR. But it's important to have companies like Lynx that can put on the market a good alternative to someone like Facebook. And here we can mention privacy, for example.
Yeah, we should.
Which is the tip of the iceberg.
We should.
We should absolutely tell people that the next iteration of hardware will catch up with what Lynx is doing, and even further than that, with eye tracking and stuff like that. And we should now ask ourselves the question: do we want those big teams and the companies behind them to be responsible for that? And we've seen in the past what happens when we let them do that. Mark Zuckerberg testified in front of Congress. I never did. I would probably never do the same stuff that he does, because we're just seeing this device as not a way to get your data, but as a way for you to create great things. And this is what this is all about, AR and VR, to expand the human mind. But for other people, and again, especially at Facebook, because they're present and everywhere, they're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about enabling you to do new things. They just want to get your eyeballs time and to get all the data behind that. I'm not trying to do fear mongering and to scare people, but that's just the truth. That is what I see. That is what we see in the industry.
Well, yeah. The thing is, the business model, the business model of Facebook is just advertisement. And in order to show you the right advertisement, they need to understand you and know what you're about, right? And that's why they will get all the data possible, especially once there's eye tracking, right? It's not about like just like blaming Facebook. They have a business model, and they're just doing everything they can to increase their earnings. And right? It's just like it's a normal thing.
And they are not playing fair. Mark Zuckerberg said, people saw us as a social media company, and they're going to see us more as a metaverse company. Mm-hmm. That statement is quite false, in the sense that he should have said, we are an ad company, and we'll still be an ad company, like not metaverse or social media. And that is hurtful for the AR and VR ecosystem, and on the long term, it's really dangerous, really dangerous. So I think we need companies like Lynx that put devices out there that are, I think, good, but also important on the privacy standpoint and on the value of having competition. So this is really important that we get the support today, so we'll be able to continue to have some technological advantage over the next version. We'll try to keep up. You've seen what we've done with 2 million. Can you imagine with what we'll do with the next round of funding? So I'm quite confident on that side. We have access to the same technology that they have, most of them, maybe except Apple, of course. But we are seeing, roadmaps from the displays, from Qualcomm. We have access to the same tech, so I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about how aggressive the competition can be. And this is why we need all the support we can get as soon as today.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I still have not forgotten about the second question about, like, let's say Apple comes in, Facebook, and they have they're going to for sure have amazing products, which are probably then better than this first version. So how can you keep up with these companies?
These companies, Apple and Facebook, they will go for the consumer market and almost nothing else. Mm-hmm. I will still and always have the professional market to assure some volume, and that will allow me to live on that. And on the consumer market, I think it's really okay to share the market with companies like Apple and Facebook.
Sure.
If they come up with a device that is using the same principle but maybe a bit better, faster, it only validates what we're doing.
Okay.
So the valuation of our company will go up.
Right.
and we are all working for the same agenda. So again, I'm worried, but I'm also excited.
Of course. So probably you can also, that's just my imagination, I'm not sure. You can probably reiterate on your hardware faster because your decision processes are like ridiculously faster than huge companies, or
Yeah, this is why we were able to make things happen very fast for a small company. Now we have the experience of the first device, so you can imagine that for the next iteration will be quite fast. And we have, we don't have the inertia of a big company like Microsoft or Facebook or Apple. So we'll continue to use that to our advantage.
okay.
We want to grow as a company, but not become a very big one and lose that competitive edge about the time the time for decision making and all that.
Okay, yeah, great answers. So right now your Kickstarter is running. This is a very special moment. You have just shown it to us for the first time. What is next? So your Kickstarter is going to end in some time, and you will look for funding, I believe.
We are right now. So when the Kickstarter started, we immediately completed it very, very fast, and I was able now to show financial people revenue and traction.
Yeah.
So I was able for the first time not only to show them the device, but at the same time saying that people want that, they're putting money on it,
like real money,
and it answers some pain points for the customers on the professional and on the consumer side. So right now I'm in a much better position to discuss with financial people. So the next step for us is to finish this Kickstarter, show more and more demos to people as fast as we can.
Okay.
Thanks to people like you as well, and like to reach some audience, and then to finish this round of funding. Immediately kickstart the production. Like the production will be kickstarted, started at the end of the Kickstarter. We will immediately fly to Taiwan and make sure we can deliver those headsets as fast as possible now. That's the only priority.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm just imagining to be an investor in this space, and I would obviously be happy if I was in a position to be an investor and to be able to join this. Because in my opinion now, you have like this great demo that you didn't have before, right?
Yeah.
You told me like when you showed it to some people, it was not at this stage. Like right now, it was super nice and convincing, like for Gary and me, who are really into that whole thing. And I can just imagine an investor now to see it, now how it works, what you have done in 2 years with a small team, like fighting against the giants, like David against Goliath, like what is possible with more money? This is really my takeaway here. Like my takeaway is, wow, this works way better than I imagined before when I came here. It works well. It is like a new category of device, which this is going to be like mind-blowing to people, like how this technology is going to enrich our lives, what we will be able to do with it. Like completely new categories of gaming will develop, like which are like just amazing. And that's why also when I saw these controllers there, I didn't even want to think about it, like to see this as a Quest 2 competitor. I hope that we made it clear in this stream that this is not like a Quest 2 competitor. This is something completely new, completely different. And people who will right now want to experience this on the bleeding edge as one of the first people ever, they have the chance to do so now, while supporting a young startup company here in Europe that has, that does not want to get your data, that has something way better in the works, like also in terms of your business model. So that's something that point I really want to drive home. And I also agree it would make so much sense to support you for that. And if you're a developer and you want to realize your crazy AR dreams right now, probably not even on this device, but probably in the future for the Apple headset, you can do that now. You can build that now with this device. now. Yeah, any of these devices, the transparent version or the other one. And that is what I think is so exciting.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I agree. I think it represents something that's completely different to anything else we've seen before. And the value of that is the fact that you've got two people that have come here who are very experienced in using various forms of VR headsets, and you've shown them something new, which I've not seen before. And that in itself should speak volumes, really, I think, because if you've got people out there that are very used to VR in its form today, even perhaps getting a little bit disillusioned with VR today in its direction, this is something new and it's a different category. So I think, like, leap on that, pounce on it, and show people that that should be the focus of this device from my point of view. But of course, it's got the flexibility to also rank alongside the Quest in some ways as well, doing very similar things to the Quest in that way as well. So it's got a level of flexibility while also showing people that have seen all this before something completely different that they've not seen before in this way. So yeah, I'm like you, Sebastian. I had my expectations very much tempered before I came here, but those demos, those very simple demos, they weren't anything extravagant at all. So you imagine give this to. You said you came up with that demo in an evening. You had the idea and you came up with that in an evening. And then you said, imagine if you gave this to a developer for a week or a month or 6 months, what could they come up with? And it's all of these things that spark the imagination and keep people like me excited in this technology.
And what was, to conclude on that, your experience, what was amazing for me, I'm not really an expressive guy, but when I saw your reaction and your smile when you use your hands, when you try the device for the first
really
time,
cool.
as a part of the people that created the device, it speaks a lot to me, and it tells a lot about the work we're doing here. And I hope the team will watch that as well. And
I'm sure they will.
I'm sure they're really, really proud that we were able to execute that, and that we're on the right path to bring something new to people.
Yeah,
and it's what motivates us, and like you as well. This space, what it's bringing into people's life, it's really amazing. So, thank you for coming. Thank you for, even with the expectation you had, making this trip to Paris, come and see the device. I'm quite sure it was worth it now.
Yeah, it was worth it, absolutely.
And I hope people will get that this is real, of course. But
I think now they know it's real.
Yeah.
It's worth supporting. It's worth trying. So you can buy one online. We will open some demos. We'll try to be there for AWE. We'll be there at CES. You'll be able to try Lynx more and more as we assemble more and more devices. But now is the first time really that we put all those out there, and it's really exciting. I was waiting for this day for 3 years now,
right?
And it pays off just by your reaction, just seeing you and your experience. You've seen everything.
You've seen it all.
So it was very telling.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And also, we can also say thank you, for inviting us and giving us a chance to try this out as one of the first people ever on this planet. And it was really cool. And Archpol, who's watching this right now, says it's a true mixed reality headset, and they need to be congratulated with only a 15-person development team. And I think that is just that wraps it all up.
Yeah.
Today.
And we're at the beginning of something very big. Maybe next year we'll look back at this video saying, there were 15 people in this room, playing in their kitchen to make this headset, and we'll look back. So I cherish this moment, and I hope people understand better now.
I think they do now,
and they will understand better in the weeks to come how much we're bringing to the AR and VR space and to people's life. So
perfect.
It's really great.
Amazing. And probably you can put this video into the Kickstarter. So for somebody who really wants to understand it now
in depth,
watch this video. I think watch this podcast or listen to this podcast, then you will really know what you're backing.
Absolutely.
Right? This makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Wow, perfect. Really, really nice. Again, thank you for everything. This was the first episode that we did live together here.
Yeah,
It was so cool. I so much enjoyed it. To meet you, get to know you,
great.
and to talk about the bleeding edge of mixed reality, of a mixed reality headset. One of the first. You guys can back this right now. I'm going to put the link to their Kickstarter down into the description of this video and also of the audio podcast. Check it out. It costs $500 and it's a cool device. It's a bleeding edge of mixed reality, and you're supporting a young startup that has like the real motivations. I think that's important to do what you're doing. Yeah, and that's it. Wow, what an episode! I'm really I'm feeling excited and emotional about this episode because I think this was a very special episode here. And I don't even know what to say. This was really, really cool. Episode number 12 of season 2 of the Next Dimension podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give it a thumbs up. And also, please, if you haven't done so yet, absolutely do give us a review on iTunes. You can probably, after this episode, at least finally, get out your iPad or your iPhone, open the podcast app where you can find us, find the Next Dimension podcast, and do write us a review, because I really think this is a special podcast, going to places to really talk with people who are now at the bleeding edge of our industry, the industry that we love so much. So thank you so much, and see you next week. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Probably, you know what? We should
Have the after show.
Have the after show. I nearly, because normally we always have the after show, but we still stay online for a moment.
Yeah.
And wow, I just now I get really emotional. I really because this is such a special show.
Yeah.
This is so special, and it's tough to convey this. Like coming here and then showing people something that they really needed to see, and then putting this out directly. This is really very special content. I love to put out content that really is valuable, and I just think this here was just super valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And I'm glad that we could make it happen.
Yeah.
On a short, on short notice like that, and with all the development that is going on and all everything moving around in AR and VR, that you get to take the time to be here. Yeah.
One thing we didn't mention on the show, but we can mention in the after show, is the level of transparency with Lynx that we've seen here today, because we didn't go into that. But basically, when we arrived here, we were just given free reign. We could film anything, film any of the equipment, anything at all. So the level of transparency and openness and the honesty, and also the fact that you acknowledge issues that you've yet to rectify with this device, which we covered, the pass-through stuff, the calibration and these kinds of things. So I think that should definitely be said. It's something I meant to say during the show, but
good point.
That level of transparency just speaks volumes to me as well. So it's been absolutely fantastic this weekend to meet you both and to try this device as well. Yeah, it's been a good episode.
It has been a very good episode. And you're so right about what you said, the level of transparency. Like we came here and you said, okay, you can just do everything. You can just film everything you want. And nothing of this episode was pre-planned. Like probably 15 minutes before the show, we thought about, okay, what do we talk about? It was super spontaneous. There was nothing which was somehow scripted, or nothing was planned for us to sell you the device. Nothing.
No.
Nothing. It's just everything is pure. What we see, what we saw, we told you, we discussed with Stan, and you just saw it. Pure content.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
And
cheers on this one, really.
Sorry if I was not talking too much.
No,
I'm just
right.
I think people can tell that on screen, but I'm really tired
on
the work.
Obviously.
I'm
go to
again,
have a good sleep. No?
Tomorrow, Sunday.
Yeah.
And just so you know, we're putting all our hearts into this device. You have to see that as a platform. And right now we just put the first layer of the platform, which is the hardware. And now we're getting into the content, into what people will do, things that we didn't imagine before.
That's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be incredible. It's going to take off. Every one of you who is a backer of Lynx on Kickstarter, thank you so much. It means everything for me, for the team. You are an ambassador of the future of mixed reality right now. So really, thank you so much.
Perfect. I think, and that's the perfect end for the show now. Thank you for watching this special show of the Next Dimension podcast. And we're going to see each other very soon. Bye-bye.